Zdeněk Vojtíšek is a prominent anti-cult activist in the Czech Republic and one of those who often claims their approach to be independent, unbiased, and open to dialogue. He has frequently mentioned this in various issues of the journal Dingier, where he has been the editor-in-chief and founder since 1998. But is this really the case? Let's examine some details observed in Vojtíšek's practices. He uses the label cult, despite its inherently derogatory connotation. The editor-in-chief of Dingier concluded that there is no need to replace this term with a less pejorative one, as other scholars such as James Richardson have done. Terms like emergent religion, charismatic group, and new religious movement are used in the English-speaking world. According to Zdeněk Vojtíšek, the term sect, or cult, accurately reflects the majority's rejection of the group. Vojtíšek, 2004. The word cult will certainly remain in religious studies and likely on the pages of Dingier Journal as well. Zdeněk Vojtíšek. Inconsistent treatment of different religious organizations. Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, and Scientologists often face criticism despite their registered status as churches, unlike the established religions. Double standards and implicit discrimination. The principle of not referring to religious groups in offensive or disparaging terms is not upheld in practice. For example, the recruitment of new members into new religious movements and their initial involvement is frequently compared to drug addiction, a term with inherently negative connotations. Monopoly on opinion. The narratives promoted by Czech anti-cultists regarding new religious movements align closely with those in Czech media, indicating direct interaction between the two. Moreover, their undeniable influence over the press is evident because the opinions from other religious scholars who are not part of this anti-cult group are simply disregarded by journalists. Since the early 1990s, the Czech press has consulted exclusively Zdeněk Vojtíšek and his colleagues on religious matters. This phenomenon limits freedom of speech and diversity of opinions and contradicts fundamental democratic principles. Furthermore, in an issue of Dingier, Zdeněk Vojtíšek expressed his admiration for Johannes Agard and his global network of students and colleagues. Finally, the third type of research approach for me is the Danish scholar Johannes Agard. I must admit that I admire him, his students, and colleagues worldwide for their ability to make quick, critical judgments based on their knowledge of how the studied religious groups operate. After his public debates with representatives of Scientology and the family, I became convinced that these unfortunate representatives must leave convinced that someone knows their maneuvers and manipulative techniques better than they do themselves. If we say that Melton sets aside his personal biases in his scientific work and Barker sheds the lens of her culture, then Agard completely discards all illusions about the groups he studies and hears the underlying tones of the messages they convey.